Hello and welcome to your first day inside of DayZ. So my goal is to put together a little series to help show new players to DayZ, to kind of show them the ropes, for lack of better words. As DayZ gets more and more developed and as it moves closer to beta and hopefully is released as a full-fledged game on PC as well as console, more and more people should be picking it up and playing it, possibly for the first time, possibly without playing any other survival game by Bohemia, whether that's Arma 2, Arma 3, any of the mods, and etc. All the tutorials that I saw on YouTube when I first started playing, and as of today, which it is February, almost March of 2016, all the tutorials are very much outdated. The earliest I seen was about a year ago. So my goal is to develop an updated version of DayZ tutorials and hopefully keep those updated as the patches roll out. The thing to keep in mind with DayZ, since it is constantly updated and constantly in development as of this moment, things will change greatly, whether that's where loot spawns, whether that's locations, or how the user interface is. So my goal is to try to keep these updated. I'm not just going to release a static series of tutorials and then just leave it. That would be pretty pointless because chances are it's going to be pretty outdated or obsolete even in about 6 months' time. So every maybe couple months, maybe 6 months, I don't know, we'll see kind of how DayZ changes. I will be attempting to upload more videos to add to this list. So to start off, whether or not you've jumped into DayZ and played a little bit, a couple hours, and you're just looking to get a few tips, or whether this is the first time you've actually ever loaded it up, I would recommend, before you even start, to get a couple housekeeping things out of the way. The game is not very well optimized at all, and as a result, you're going to want to change the settings from what they currently are when you first download it in order to give yourself a better experience. So before you even load up the game, what you'll want to do is go to your documents, find the DayZ file. Inside there, you're going to have a couple different folders here. You should be able to open these with Notepad or an equivalent app. I just have the standard Notepad. You're going to have one that says DayZ and then your whatever your computer username is. So what you want to do, open up the DayZ folder. You're going to want to set these right here, GPU max frames ahead and GPU detected frames ahead to 1. This will help ensure a smoother experience inside of DayZ. Come up here, save it, exit out. Then go down to your name. There should be two. One is going to have your name and then it's going to have .vars, and the other one should just have your name. Open the one that just has your name, scroll down all the way pretty much to the bottom. Here you have a couple different things that you can play around with. The most important are these right here. You have scene complexity, shadow distance, view distance, and preferred object view distance. These numbers, the higher they are going to have an inverse effect on your performance. The higher they are, the less performance you're going to get out of your computer. These are especially important if you're not running on a very high-end PC, or in particular, I shouldn't just say high-end PC, but if you don't have a high-end processor, especially an Intel i5 or higher, DayZ is probably not going to be running as well as you'd think it would, given your setup. Even if you have a mid-range PC with a decent graphics card or a great graphics card and a mid-range processor, you're still not going to be getting the performance that you would in other games, purely because DayZ is in alpha and it hasn't been optimized yet. So this scene complexity, I believe, starts at 1,000,000. And what you should probably do if you've never played DayZ before, or you've fired it up a bit and you're not getting very good performance, is just play around with this number a bit and reduce it until you get pretty good FPS. The thing that I would throw out is that if you go below 250,000, then you're going to encounter situations where players are not rendering in and they may be shooting at you and you're not even going to see them. I think that usually takes above, I think it's above a kilometer or maybe 800 meters at that point to where you can't see players, which may not seem like a big deal. at the moment, but DayZ, the Chernarus map is huge, and the odds of you getting shot at by someone from a far distance actually are quite great. So personally, I don't recommend going below 300,000, but that's just me, and I can normally have this up pretty high. Usually I'm at about, I think, 750,000, but that's only a recent thing because I upgraded my processor recently. Shadow distance, that's only really important if you have shadows on, but you can reduce that number a bit to get a couple more frames. View distance, this helps determine how or when objects will render in for you. I believe the max right now is actually 1600, so mine's at 2000. That's just an automatic setting that's getting changed in game as I fiddle around with stuff. You're gonna want to play around with them a bit just to make sure. I would recommend for your first time, I would set view distance to 1200 and then preferred object view distance to 1000 or 1100 and see what that does. If you're getting really good performance, up those a little bit, and if you're not, then maybe reduce them a bit. So once you've set those, save, exit out. This just helps load the game a little bit faster. This is completely optional, but I would recommend it. Go to your Steam, go to DayZ, right click on it, go to properties. Up here, go to set, under general, go to set launch options, and then type these in. I'll put these in the description, but it's dash no splash dash no pause, and then this is dash new UI. That's for the new user interface. I wouldn't recommend using that when you're first starting out on DayZ because it is a bit confusing. I would stay with the old user interface. But put those in there and then press OK. For purposes of this video, I'm going to actually, or for this series, I'm going to take off the new user interface, so that way it's not confusing. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's fire it up.